In the horrible days of March and April, when it really felt like the world was about to end, it was like a beacon of sanity. It makes me feel very relaxed and happy.
Lockdown is just, I think it's testing us, all of us, in so many levels. We want a change. We're needing a change. My yoga practice brings to my life a sense of calm, groundness, and a reminder of self-love.
My experience of practicing with stretch online has been really special. You can kind of feel or sense that everyone's practicing together and breathing the same air.
No one should feel like they can't breathe. The way I feel after practicing yoga, it's like, wow, I am alive, I am here, I have so much to give, to receive. Yeah, it just makes you feel, whoa, yeah. I really try and allow myself the space when I'm teaching to just be myself. Yoga genuinely is for everyone. Everyone deserves to feel this feeling.
Yoga makes me feel very still. And for me, it's very important. I suffer from bipolar condition. So generally, and this is something that actually started recently, you go from like being depressed to manic. I would say that it's the best type of exercise in terms of helping with that. After a session, you feel like some of this tension has melted away, basically. And so you feel more at peace with yourself and with the world.
Having that space to process emotions, to process feelings, is not a space that exists in the Black community on a whole. It's addressing things like mental health and how you're feeling aren't things that you do. It allows you space to be vulnerable to yourself.
So as a queer person, I find I really struggle being in my body. Completely disconnect most of the time. Just to be still and to be in my body was quite life-changing.
For yoga to reach the Black community is so needed. I have all this love and this healing and joy that I've found and good vibes, and I would like you to experience that too. I really hope that I can be a part of making people feel safe.
I'm now a queer personal trainer. When you don't see yourself represented, you do feel fear. It can be as simple as language that can create an inclusive space. Definitely been this kind of idea of masculine versus feminine energy. There is a beautiful, messy in between, and I think that needs to be celebrated a little bit more in yoga. Lockdown has been just such a roller coaster, to be honest. Being part of Stretch's community has been really wonderful. I didn't realise how much emotion I was holding in, and throughout the breath classes, they just helped me kind of release a lot of that tension, and just floods of tears on my lounge floor, which is, even though it sounds sad, it was really, really cathartic.
I'd always struggled with my body and have had lots of, intrusive thoughts about what I should look like. It just makes me feel strong, it makes me feel very confident, and I guess it makes me feel beautiful in a sense. I think I really like how my body feels and the way it moves and how it looks when I'm moving.
There have been lots of times when I've come away from, or halfway through my yoga class, I've just started crying. Feels like it actually allows your emotions to sort of really connect. Yoga, and same like dance, it makes you feel happy afterwards. I've drunk the Kool-Aid. Oh God, I'm never going to live this down.
What brings me joy in life? Spending time with friends and family, music, just being able to move freely brings me joy. Inversions just make me feel, for lack of a better word, they just make me feel good.
So the ashram was between Tokyo and Osaka, but I think I was like 1 year old to 4.5 years old. The memory I have in this ashram is that I'm surrounded by huge nature in the middle of a mountain. I didn't have human friends. I felt like I was connected to animals and natures, and I had some sort of like a superpower. At Stretch, when I started to have deeper learning, I was finally like encountering that inner child of myself.
My practice is creative. It's intimate, and it's where I find freedom. It's easy to feel lost during the lockdown and lose your sense of self a little bit. And yoga has been like a lighthouse. It feels blissful, and I am very grateful.
I've had my swim in the sea, I've done my chanting, rolled around on a mat, done some breathing, so I'm feeling pretty invincible. The breath is fundamental. It's the beginning and the end, really, of our life. Pretty much everybody has a dysfunctional breath in one way or another.
Yoga has taught me how to breathe. I wasn't breathing properly. I was highly stressed. There was a period during lockdown I felt a little bit alone, and that was in reaction to police brutality, anti-black racism, and the upsurge of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Your breath is your life force, so if you're not breathing in the whole of your life force, you're only giving out a fraction of what you've really got.
I dread to think what I would be like without my breath work. 5 years ago, I had breast cancer for the second time, had a double mastectomy, chemotherapy, and then I went through divorce. And I came out of that whole really ghastly period of my life having tested breathwork to its, I think, to the limit.
We are all suffering from so much trauma. The healing
is really about getting to know people, really seeing them for who they are, what their struggles are, and listening, really listening to them. If we don't engage with each other and try to learn about who we are, we'll never break down the invisible barriers that separate us as communities.
Trauma is held at a cellular level. We change our breath pattern and we change the way that we live our lives. And once people feel more happy, confident, less anxious, then that'll ripple out into the community. We need to turn the tide. Absolutely, we need to turn the tide.
Being a yoga teacher is that you can really serve and offer others and make a difference in people's lives, and I guess empower them to start a journey of their own that's healing. It's a 5,000-year-old tradition that is extremely relevant in 2020. Just doing one class could change your life in so many ways.
Restorative yoga is about down-regulating your nervous system. It goes quite deep, so it stays with you for a few days. So at the beginning, my mum was really ill and I was having to face up to that. So it was a great release to have the breath work to start coming to terms with that. And then during that time, I actually lost her. I think that's the ultimate thing that's come up this time. Because people haven't been able to have their will, they've realised what's truly important in life. Yeah, it's your family, isn't it? And the people you love.
I'm a nutritionist and I think quite scientifically about things. And, I think there's something about yoga that incites all of the positive neurotransmitters. It's grounding, yet exhilarating at the same time.
Yoga to me means the ability to find both infinite expansion and infinite sort of reflection wherever I am in pretty much any setting.
I'm 100% also a culprit of having wanted to fit in my whole life. I had a very unkind inner dialogue. I was so amazed by the very instant effect sounds had on me, and that sound healing process countered stress by invoking the parasympathetic nervous system. So we're not taught to love ourselves. It's not being taught in school. And that is probably the most important thing we could ever be taught. It's the basis for everything.